Lucas, thank you for your time. Why did you join YPG? What moved you to go to Syria and fight against ISIS?
So there's a lot of reasons that I could kind of roll into one. I first heard about the Rojava Revolution and the Kurdish struggle against the fascist forces, Turkey and ISIS in 2014. When I heard about the siege of Kobani, I used to watch videos and listen to the Dengbej of Shahid Vian Peyman, and it broke my heart just watching all these Kurds in this city, that they proudly used to call their own, that's just destroyed. And I met Kurds there who used to call Kobani Stalingrad. I mean, that was how important it was to them. That was how besieged they really were, how outnumbered they really were. So at that time, I told myself, I was in college at the time, and at that time I told myself, if this is still going on when I finish college, I have to go and help, because I studied history in school, and they always say in America, if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, I didn't want it to repeat, and I wanted to go over there and really help it not repeat itself, to help prevent this genocide, to help prevent this terrorism that was going on.
And going there, what have you gained by going there? What has it given to you?
I've gained a family. I mean, the Kurds are the greatest family that I could ever ask for. They're smart, they're politically savvy, and most of all they're loving. They're really loving, and not just for their own. They're loving towards their own, but also Kurds, Arabs, Assyrians, and internationals as well. I mean, the amount of gratitude that I've received from Kurds everywhere in the world, Kurdistan in the diaspora, sometimes I feel like I don't even deserve it.
And how do you see the Kurds fight against ISIS and other extremism? You talked about Kobani. It's where it was the highest point of ISIS, but it's where Kobani defeated the YPG and the US from the good working relations, which is continuing until now. And today, YPG-led SDF is inside the center of ISIS's caliphate. How do you see from that day to today, and how do you think about the fight against ISIS?
Yeah, I mean, when the Kurds call Kobani Stalingrad, as a student of history, I definitely see the parallels there, because you have this Kurdish force that is besieged in their capital, and it looks like they're going to lose all hope. It looks like that all of them are going to fall victim to this terrorism, and yet in only a few years, they've managed to almost completely eradicate ISIS from the region, including their self-declared capital, Raqqa. I mean, Raqqa could easily take months and months and months and months, but as of now, half of the city is taken. I mean, that's very impressive for a force that, doesn't have advanced medical equipment or advanced weapons, things like this.
Going there is very dangerous. It's a real war there, and ISIS fighters are known to be good fighters. They're resilient, they're ready to die. Have you ever thought about being killed there? Because I also want to ask two American volunteers that YPG announced yesterday that have been killed in action. Also, did you know them? What do you think about them?
Right. I knew the two American fighters, actually. I met them as I was leaving Rojava. They were both really amazing men. Shahid Demhat was a leftist activist who he was very active in protests in New York. And Shahid Rodi was a former army vet. He spent time in Afghanistan. He spent time in the French Foreign Legion. And both of them were just very committed to, wiping out this terrorist scourge from the earth. And I think, the outpouring of love that I've seen towards these fighters and their families really shows that, yes, ISIS may be resilient. They're not scared to die. But yəpəgə isn't scared to die either. SDF is not scared to die either. And the thing that we have that they don't have is love for each other and love for humanity.
My last question. After you came back from Rojava, do you have contact with YPG or the Kurds? What do you do right now in terms of your relation with Kurds?
I mean, like I said, Kurds are like my family now. And I still have a relationship with a lot of volunteers in YPG, foreign volunteers, as well as, natives, military people and civilians in Rojava. And I do as much as I can to make sure that when, you know, something bad happens on the news, maybe the Turkish forces are shelling the area or ISIS attacks, I make sure that I try to publicize that as much as possible. For me, to not try to publicize this after having left Rojava would be like giving up the fight, and I can't abandon my family like that.
Yeah. Lucas, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.